Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Now we are going to deal with all inputs of HTML. It is one of the simplest lessons among the lessons that we've discussed about. It will be not complicated. This this part of HTML is very crucial and it is very useful while dealing with the forms. You see, when you go to log in and when you wanted to sign up, or when someone wants the information of something on the website, you see there is something that you fill in, that the thing all combined, they are called inputs and they are placed inside the box which is called the form. There is another simple thing that is used to collect information together. It is just called the field set, and I will explain it later. So I'm going to deal with these inputs on HTML. You come back here and you open up your HTML folder. Then you come here, open with VS Code Studio. To those that we have studied on the first lesson, you will go there and check which is the HTML basics. You will go there and check how we have created everything from the beginning, and when you come back to this video, you'll find that there is nothing so different from here. How we created the folder, how we made everything possible, so there is no problem. So as you can see, now I'm inside in the VS Code Studio. They are telling me something. You are welcome to tab 9. This is one of the best AI software development platform developing the next generation of agentic AI to mature the engineering term. That is one of AI that is helping nowadays to develop HTML. As you can see here, there is a copilot of GitHub that can be used while you wanted to say anything or to understand something about your code. So you can also use this simple VS Code Studio. It is a very crucial software and very useful software for coding. So you come here, going on our files here, and then you create another file. We will call it lesson 8 08.html, which will be dealing with the input. Here we may use a simple inline block, the block element and the inline, because we will use the block element to separate inline block element, because input are inline block element. That is to say, when you may put one input there and say this is the first input, the second input will come next to another. I will let me just practically show it. So you come here, shift exclamation mark, the image abbreviation will appear automatically, and then you input. When you see that your font size is very big inside your VS Code Studio, don't lose problem, don't lose your mind. It is so simple. You come and click there, then you just click control, you go to negative, minus or plus minus. When you go to plus, you see how the size is increasing, and when you want to decrease it, you click on minus, like that, and now you can see it becomes so simple and very viable, useful. Don't feel somehow uncomfortable with your fonts. When you want to increase it, you just control plus. When you want to decrease it, you come here to control negative beside the 0. From that top part, I'm using just laptop, not desktop. From 1 to 3 5, then you get 0, negative, and plus sign will be there. So we are going to deal with the input. Here at input, that is where we are going to first somehow enter in the block element and in inline element. Sorry. When we are dealing with the inline element, that is to say the element will go next to each other. For example, I want an input like this, which is text, and they say that the form element must have labels, and I will talk about it when we go to advanced, when we'll be explaining the forms. That is where I will be using the labels elements and putting these inputs together. Here they are saying the form element must have the labels element, has no title attribute, element has no placeholder attribute. So to add this together, here I can add there a label, and I can put there an input and the title. There is no problem, I'm going to use it. And you come here and you say input, for example, I want to put their password, for example. Let's say that. And when you Control Alt P to open it with Live Server, Control plus Alt plus T, you can see this. Can you see this? This text where I can put my name like this, and here I can come and put there my password. I want to see it now. Can you see it? There's two parts are inline to each other. This is on one line, this is on the same line as this. So these are called inline element. Those are the element that is supplied next to each other within the browser. So if you want to separate them to make it block or to make it follow up each other, there is another system that you can use. We use a label. I'm going to use it because it is, I see it must be there so that you get a full understanding to this input of HTML elements. So you come back there, I will explain every input, and you come here and you write label is an element, label for example, name for text, just text, and you put here, for example, a ptog which says your name, please, for example, and you put here these two dots. When you label for text, you say I label for text, and now input must be a text as you have seen. And within there, now we have seen that they told us before that we have no label. The form must have a label, and I can just come and Control X to cut it and put it here. Now I have seen that we put there inside the label. That is where we put the input, and the input, the first input is the text, and the text must be there. So you come here, and there is something that they are telling us, that you must have a title. We may put their title. For example, we say that this is input, and the placeholder, it is the text that will be supplied inside that box to tell the user either to put something there, but it will be used to put there a name. For example, here you will say placeholder will equal to name. May come here and change that last rate and say by caps lock, Control S to save. And now you see an input is very not now. This input is very useful. You see, the first we declare the label, and inside we put there a p tag or a paragraph where we put this simple text and they say name players, and I have explained everything that is related to the paragraph in the first chapter. So when you put here, you put a name that you want, for example Jack Mukesha, like that. It is the simple name, and when you just hover over it, they tell you that this is input. And this title normally disapplies, or it is basically being disapplied when you have a race connection and this input seems not to be fully disapplied. When you hover over it, they tell you that at that place there is an input. So this title stands for this input in case it is not fully disapplied within your browser, due to the technical problem or due to the absence of the internet. So that is the first input. Inside that name or inside that input, you may say that I want the characters or letters to be placed there to be at least, for example, I want the size of that character to be 40. Have you seen? Control S, that is the size. And when you come where you see that it was small, it was just a short input, but now it have increased so that you may put more and more characters until we reach 40. Have you seen? This size controls the size of this input to be to that this input that is displayed here. So again, you may come here and put here a max length, for example, to be set 23 pixels. If it's like that, when you see max length it's not working, you come here and control S to see what is happening. Still the size is blocking everything. And when you comment this, you like this, no control forward slash, you see that. And when you remove this, control Z and do that, and when you delete that thing and control S, by max length also you can see it is still working. There is no problem. Max length, no mean length. Mean length you may put there at least 4. Control S, and when you remove this max length here and the control S to save, you may come here, and when you put only 1, this is an input, you may come and add too much of the things like you want. And when you wanted to add something that is to say that if you don't put anything there, there will be a dockable thing that will show you whether there is a mistake that you have done while fulfilling the form. So you come here and put there a simple word that is called required. Have you seen it? Yes, now it is required. This is an input, but if you do that and remove there and don't write anything there and you hover over it, the title is pressed. But when you remove this title here, control S to save, you can see that they say please fill out this form, but I didn't put there anything. That is to say that this simple required word that I have written there quickly reminders or triggers the code that is built within the browser to release a word that say you must fulfill this before you continue to the next. For example, you come here and you get out, then they tell you, please fill out this form. You must fill that form. Follow the hierarchy. Label for the text, your name please, and input type that must be there. Let's do the next label. It's label for password, for example. Password. Can you see? Then you put there p tag and they say please enter your password, your password, and have you see that the English is somehow Englishing me, please. Yes, Control S. Then you come here with that two, what, no, like that, and then come here like this, and then you come here to input. You target that password to be password, and you put there required. Okay, and then in placeholder you say, in the placeholder you say password. Control S. This word will be displayed inside an input to tell the user that he must put there a password, and you can see that the password is displayed. You put there something, and this is to tell you that you must see something that you are putting there, and you can come again and put more and more and more things as you want, but you can limit it and say that max length or size will equal to 4, for example. Control S to save, and when you back there and put something like you want to put more thing, it can't happen there. It must be at least 4. Size must be 4, and inside there max length, when they say max length of the password must be 4. Size but can be increased to 12, but inside the input we put there only 4 characters. For example, we are going to, you see, max length of the password must be only 4 things, and you see, and you have clicked the many several time. Max length is just a word that is just a part of this input which triggers the quantity or the size of the characters to put there inside the password. For example, you go to some website and they tell you put there a simple number, put there a simple thing, and then you ask yourself what is happening. You put there a number and you find that a number is for 6 characters. If you want to write it, cannot be inside there. It is the press that they made for only 6 characters, so they have already written there there's a simple max length word, and when they put their mean, that is to say, for example, mean length will be only 3. Control S, and when you put there mean length to be 1, they tell you please lengthen this text to 3 characters or more. You are currently using only 1 character. You see, mean length is telling you that you must put there too much, to the extent of 3. And when you put more, they also tell you that you are using too much characters. So this max and min length controls too much things that must be pressed inside the input. Don't hesitate to use it. It is very useful and very crucial. So again, you come here on the label. You label for example, you label for color is another form of input, and the p again, which is inline, which is the block element as label is block element, and inside the label you may say choose the color, choose the color, 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 and here you put something like this, and then you put their input and came here like this, and you come here to the color and you put their required, for example, and then when you come here again, you can see the box of the color is disapplied, and inside an input there of the password you must put there required that the password is very it is there again. Control S, this required tells the browser and it triggers you that you must fulfill before you continue to anything. So you may come here and choose the color. When you click on this little box, there is a big box that is full of the color that you must choose. You come here, for example, you use this and click like this, you come like this, and when I want it in form of blue, I do this. Yes, and you can see when you input it, when you click enter, it happens like that. You see also the color is useful. Again, you come on label for color again. Label again, you can label for an email, label for email, and then you come here with p tag, put your email here, and then you do it like this, Control S to save. Then when you finally finish on that p tag, p element, which is the paragraph there, which indicates something to put there, you come on input again and you label for email, Control S to save, and it must be required. And when you put there also a placeholder that says your email like this, Control S to save, you find it there, the placeholder have pressed there is something, and it is telling you please fill this word, meaning that we have pressed there a word that is called the required, or the simple code attribute inside the element for requiring to tell you that this thing is required. If I write everything and I say that this input, this is input, this is input, this is input, then without caring about anything, these things will be in line like this, coming from here to there without changing anything. So it is very useful to use label in naming something. Again, you came here and the label for example check, choose for example, and p input your decision, for example, your decision, your opinion, for example, opinion, like that. Control S to save and import there. No checkbox, like that. And when you have finally did that, you see that they are telling you your opinion, to choose your opinion. You come inside this box because we have seen that it is checkbox, and when you click, a literally blue V backgrounded box will appear showing that you have checked. You can check and uncheck. But also there is something that happens when you are filling the form and you find that they have already checked due to the information that you have fulfilled from, for example, from here to here and to here. When you have finally finished this whole thing, you may find that this box is checked. That will be triggered by JavaScript saying that if these things is fulfilled, then your opinion must be checked. If not fulfilled, this opinion must cannot be checked. But if you wanted to fully check it on every the supply form, we just write checked, and it happens like that. There is no other problem. And now we came to another label for an input for telephone number, example, and the P there, put here your phone number. Can you see it? And then you come here with simple input, which tells you that you must put there a telephone number, and you put there it must be required placeholder for telephone number, phone number, Control S to save. And when you get there, you see that they are telling you to put there your telephone number. Can say 078 56 34 61. And if you want to talk to me, just write this telephone number 078 607 079 263. That is my MTN number. You can call me and converse with me for further thing that you want to understand. I live in Rwanda. You can use it for WhatsApp with the beginning of the plus sign, like this, 250. Yes, like that. And it will be like this. You cannot save, cancel. Yes, it is finished. And then you can put another input there. You come here, label for example, you put there P. For example, come here to label, and you may know it is an input that must be pressed there, input. And you may do like this. For example, we want a date like this. You see a date that must be pressed there, and we come here and label for date, and put there, and put here the date. Control S to save. And you can see the date is there, you can bring this calendar and you choose something and you move to 26 to 25 and choose this 18 and you put there it is finally finished. You can change anything you want by clicking here on an input. It is so simple. Again, you can come here and label going for something and you came here P, and if you want to see something that you want to add, you just click input like this, you delete this text like this from here to here and put again that two quotation mark. When you put there quotation mark, you will find that there is a range of many input that you must put there. If you want to, you can put there in date time local, and here you can come put here and you change again this thing and say put here the date, label for date time look like that, and the control S to save. You will see that they are telling you everything, and when you choose like this, okay, and you say this like that, you see that even the everything that is related to the time date, put here the date, or put here actual date, control S to save. You will see something have changed. Again, you can come here again and put there an input and say that, say another input. You first make a label element and then p tag, and then you come here again to an input. You do the same trick by deleting this quotation text, and you do like that. You come and I want to upload, for example, file there, and you do this. Then again you put here upload your file, then you put here label for file because it must be the same, and then you come here and you can see that it is telling you that you must upload your file, and they are telling you that there is no file chosen. It is many, and I will go through them until you understand it, because it is so simple and it is very useful in every part of the browser that will be building. Again, you come here and you label again for something, and you will be using it by P. Again, you come and you create an input. You delete this thing and say that I wanted to put there, for example, a image. You wanted to upload their image. You upload your image, and here you put the image, and here you may put their required control. You may tell someone by the title of this thing and say the JPEG PNG is only supported if they are the only one that you want. But if it is like that, say that every type of image can be there, and you see that they are saying you that JPEG and PNG is only supported, and when they see you, you can upload your image by clicking there, but you must remove also this simple title because it seems like it is distorting something. And then you come here to submit the image, and when you click like here and you click like this to upload, submit the image, don't know the problem choosing the file. You see it quickly brings the file of something that must be put there. Don't know why this submission cannot work, but also you trigger it using JavaScript. So in order to create the simple file where every image that you want will be within your local host or inside the website, you have backend, and I will talk it about it later. Again, you came here and you create another label. You label for something, and again you come here, you create a p tag, a p element, and you say you will put there something. You read as the first you check inside the input if there is something that we can put there, and then when you shift a quotation mark, you can come that they are telling you image hidden. You see something hidden, math, number, password, radio, range, search, and you put their search, and here they tell you, for example, put here your search, and then you label for search, Control S to save, and you can see search is here. You can put there something, you can see, then you can come here and inside the search you put here placeholder. You may say URL also is supported to tell the user that even the link are supported. Every support like this. English is so somehow complicated. Here you can see now it is available on our browser. Again, you can come here and you label again for something, then p tag, which inside the input you come here, and the way to find it, you just first edit the text and input there something. You come here, for example, I want to put there arrange. Can you see? You can import it there, something like radio. You can input there, you can see that several input can be pressed inside one label, but it cannot even be pressed inside the label. To do this is just to show you how things can work each other inside the element. So you come again, you delete it like that, and when you put the exclamation mark, you can put there submit, and Control S to save, and you will see something I have already changed. You see that you have put something that is arranged, which you can increase something, checking the radio like that. Can you see? And then submit. You see it is the button that is created there, and I will talk about buttons later. So, and then you can again come and you label for you input something new, and you can say input, for example, the text. No, you delete this thing, and then you do that again. You come to, for example, you want to put there a link or a week. Choose between the link and the week. So let's choose week. Example, put here, and put here, put choose whatever you want, whatever. Control S to save, and you can see that there is too much. You choose the week, you put there something, you can come here and I want this week, yes, put there this thing, yes, on weeks at 7 2000 2025. You see, it is not very complicated. You can come again and put there another input, delete this text, so to write this word another, you put the exclamation, you do this, and then you get more things like query, time, text, search, range, password, number, your links, like this. You can see it is very useful. The link must be pressed here, and you can come inside there, you put that must be required. Input type is not supported by Firefox Safari. You see, they also tell you that there is something that is not even supported by some of the browsers. Like, for example, this input type, it cannot be supported by Firefox, Safari, or on iOS, which is in this is simple. These Android systems, Android system, like you see, Exos have a Infinix. It is Infinix operating system. Google operating system also happens there in the Google Pixels. You may see Samsung operating source, which is Samsung operating system inside the phone. There is so many things that cannot be supported inside inside the different system of the browsers due to the fact that they are not capable of holding those things. So you see the range of the useful input that we'll need. I have already completed it. Here you can still come and change color. You will see more and more different boxes, and don't be ruined. This is just simple beginning of our coding by HTML. Don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. Go and check the first video. Please go and check the first videos, so you come with us and continue to study with us. And if you have already known it, this will be mainly base of knowing each and everything that you need. Again, there is a simple thing that I want to discuss lastly. It is about the button. The button is also an inline element. To get the button, you come here and you say button, like for example, sign up. Now buy item button, and when you control save to save, you will see that this is no longer an inline that this button is an inline element. It is not block element. Inline element, that will say that is the element which cannot be which are not that cannot have entire width of the browser. That say if the button is block element, it can come, you can see, for example, by inspection. I want to show you something. You come here inside this body, and I want this, for example, this label 4. You can see when I click here, you see when I click here, you see that orange colored thing, that is the space that is given between the elements. That is built within the browser, and even on that coding VS Code Studio. This blue line, it is to show you that this is an inline element. That is to show, no, it is to show you that it is the block element. But when you come here to the range, it shows you that the space ends at shortly, and it is packed there, as you have seen. You come here, you see that those things are inline. So there is no further problem. You see that there are elements which are inline, and the other which are block. We will discuss more elements dealing with knowing whether the element is block or not knowing whether it is block. And this orange color tells you that this is the margin, and by the border you cannot see it clearly. Padding, you cannot see it clearly, and until we get to the text, you see everything inside here in the browser or in VS Code Studio. It is built by just boxes. So with button, you see, you create an element and you call it button, and you may want to change its color and see how it works. Like, you can come and say class, and let's name it button. You can target it using the element name, or you can target it using the class. The beautiful way is to use the class in targeting the element, or need to target an element. When you use the name of that element, you can change the entire name of the other. You can change the entire other button that will be created inside the browser or inside your website. They will seem the same. They will have the same color, same the width when you use a button. But if you use the class and say this class, let's name it button. But remember, when you are going to write class, for example, you come here and you click Sony 08.css like this, and you link it here. You come here, let's first change here and say it is input there inside the title, and you come here and create the link, which will be reason 8 like that, and you grab this and come here and decide that I want buttons only. You may come button. If you wanted to make that it will expand from here to here, from here to here, you will come here and say it must be the supply block. And when you have finally this, you see now the buy button is on its line from here to there. And when you see the inspection, you come again to this body. Inside it, you come to this button, you can see that it is there small inline, but due to the fact that we make it that it must be broke, you see it is behaving as if it is broke, expanding from here to here, meaning that next to it in the same line there is nothing that we can add it there when you say that must be supplied broke. And by class, where by this class that we named the button, you see dot button only, you see. And when I say background color must be, for example, this aquamarine, you see. And when you come here, you will find that the buy button color, background color is changed. And when I come here and I say, let's say that I want this button to be my background color to all button must be, for example, background color must be red, for example. Control S to save. When I say that that background color must be red, and I come here to create another button to say this button also, and I name it, for example, your address. Control S to save. You can see it will have a background of red. That is to say, by class we can differentiate the button, but by element we cannot differentiate the button. When you click button, you say I'm going to use a button, automatically you see that you are going to target the entire buttons within the same HTML. So this is very useful. Be careful about classes and element. Classes, try to begin with dot followed by the name, and you rename it very well. The other thing that you can do, you can come here and say padding dot 3m dot 6m. Also, that is the kind of a measurement, and when you come here you can see that the button have somehow come big, and you can come here and say that you don't want border none, and the border radius, so that to be not rectangularly, it must be somehow beveled, and you say border must be now border radius is the one, and you put there 10 pixel. Control S to save, and you will find that it is changed to some point, and then you can increase its height and say its height I want it to be 40 pixels. Control S to save. You can see now better and good button is applied. If you want the gap between them, you can say either margin button to be either, for example, 10 pixels, so to get the space between those two buttons. And you can see that the two buttons, one of them is specific, another is somehow is red, meaning that other button must be red. When you come here again, you can change the font to that specific button. You may say that font weight must be bold, for example, and you will see that the text is somehow big. You may change its color, background color here by, and you raise it like that to come like this. Control S, you see how now button is being supplied, and you can say that I want the color of that word inside the button to be white. You see now something have finally changed. Then there is another thing. When you hover on the button, to hover over the button is like when you come here and you don't click, you see, it's me showing simple trick by CSS, but I will talk it about later. You came here and you say button, hover, no, hover, like that. Let's font, let's and hover, scale, size, you can say size, let it be 1.2 to 1.01, Control S, and a transition, that is to say transition all must happen in a 1 second, is in out, like that. And when you have it, there is nothing. No, you say transform scale, sorry, I have already forgotten it. The transform scale, transform scale, transform scale, scale, no, transform scale, scale must be 1.02, like that. It will increase by that, and you see when you hover there is something that is happening. It's increased the scale by 1/2, and you see when you hover the see something is changing, and then you can trigger it on active button and active. When it is active, now when you click it, its background color of them will be yellow, for example. Want it to be yellow, and when that happens, you see when you click, something is not changing. Button background color must be yellow. What is happening? There's something that is not working there. Active by hover and active. I don't know why this is happening like this. Yeah, you see now it is happening. When it is finally happened and you click, let's do this. There is something that is happening, but you have seen that something have changed at least. Yes, thank you again for coming on this lesson. It was so very difficult somehow, but I hope now something have come have entered into your mind about inputs. So, and even button also I have discussed about it, and you see now our website is still responsive, meaning that when you check even on iPhone, see, and when you check on you see there is nothing is weird behaving. So thank you again for coming on this lesson. If you are the first one to reach it's the first time to reach on this channel, don't hesitate to do like, share and subscribe for more videos to come, and don't go without leaving the comment of something that we will be told that you want to talk us to talk about later. Go and check also the other courses that I began with. simple tutorials that you can use. To the advanced, I will also keep on giving you very crucial courses about creating your website so that it seems very well and so responsive in every manner and on every material. So thank you. You are welcome again.